Hello and welcome to this next episode of Views of Indian Christians Expressed, voice and initiative of the Indian Catholic Forum. I am again your host, Chote Pai, and yes, we have a hot topic before you, the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympic Games 2024, which has generated a lot of heat right across the spectrum from conservatives to secularists. Now, my direct question is, what is the motto of the Olympics? It has three words: faster, higher, stronger. And recently a fourth word was added. No, it was not sexier. It was together. Now, Christians have viewed with distress and dismay what was considered a blasphemous presentation, which was a parody on the Last Supper as depicted by Leonardo da Vinci. Now, some are alarmed, distressed, condemning, and there are others saying, why to read so much into it? It's nothing, and maybe some of those could be also those who are from the LGBTQ plus community, where this seems to have been expressed rather strongly. Now, on 30th of July itself, just a few days after the opening, I issued a press release expressing anger and dismay, but not condemnation. And till date, many days have passed, just one Catholic or Christian journal or portal has published it. One editor told me, come on, we have got broad enough shoulders to weather this storm. Now, no doubt, Jesus taught us to turn the other cheek, Matthew 5:39. But when he himself was struck, he retorted angrily, if I have done no wrong, then why do you strike me? John 18:23. And we do know that in righteous indignation, he took out a whip to chase away those in the temple in Jerusalem, saying, you have made my Father's house into a den of thieves. John 2:13-15. So we cannot have a one-size-fits-all for various scenarios, including this opening ceremony in Paris. Now, outraged Christians have drawn parallels between the sexually explicit gathering around a table to Leonardo da Vinci's depiction of the Last Supper. Now, okay, that's the most popular depiction, but I'm showing you two more here. This is one which I picked up in Italy a few years ago. And this is another larger one which I show you here. And we see that both these depictions of the Last Supper are artistic expressions of various people, not necessarily the monopoly of Leonardo da Vinci. Though yes, his depiction is considered the most common and popular and found in many homes. Now, hardliners say it's blasphemy and those who have done this should go to hell. And soft peddlers are saying, why to read so much into artistic expression, which actually included a nearly naked man in an inebriated state. And defenders of it have said, this is Bacchus or Dionysius, the Roman or Greek god of fertility, wine, pleasure, and wild revelry. Now, let's dig a bit deeper. Are sex and booze commensurate with a sporting event? Had such a display been put up at a rock concert somewhere, it wouldn't have raised eyebrows, but was this commensurate with an international sporting event? Secondly, why use Greek Roman or Italian art and symbols when France itself has its own rich, very, very rich cultural heritage? What about the Louvre, Mona Lisa, Roland Garros, and the Tour de France? Oh, it's wonderful French cuisine. Why were not these things shown and portrayed in this opening ceremony? Oh yes, we also had a bloodied Marie Antoinette guillotined. Again, why such a gory image for an international sporting event that promotes togetherness, not antagonism? Therefore, I am constrained to conclude, sorry to say this, that this opening ceremony was not a faux pas or just by chance, but was in fact a blatant act of antagonism against what Christians hold sacred. Even Muslims hold Jesus sacred. They consider Mother Mary the greatest of all women. And why limit it to those who believe in him? Even here in India, a BJP MP, Kangana Ranaut, said, "This is horrendous." Now, the Catholic bishops of India did issue a press release that didn't get much traction in the press. And then the Vatican also rather belatedly issued its own release in the French language expressing dismay at this turn of events. On my part, this was my press release which I sent, and I sent a copy to the French ambassador in India and also to P.T. Usha, the president of the Indian Olympic Association. Now, when I sent these letters and copies to others, somebody said to me, "What's the use of doing this? What can you change?" Yes, that's true, that we cannot change what has happened, but we can prevent it happening again. And we therefore need to express our righteous indignation at what we feel is a direct attack on our Christian beliefs. Now, delving deeper for those who don't know France, it was once considered the eldest daughter of the church, but it nevertheless had a history of denigrating and reviling the Catholic Church, which goes back to the French Revolution. At that time, the hierarchy was considered the first estate and therefore the first target. The monarchy was the second estate, and the poor peasants were the third estate. Now, as a result of all this, France gave birth to rationalist thinkers like Voltaire and Rousseau, and also the Masonic lodges came up as a consequence of the same. The new religion of France was called Deism, and Catholic churches, including the famous Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, were converted into temples of Deism. During that era, two successive popes, Pius VI and Pius VII, died in captivity under the reign of Napoleon Bonaparte. In fact, at the death of Pope Pius VI, newspapers on the 29th of August 1779 carried this banner headline, "The hated papacy is at an end. The last pope of history dies at Valence," that's in France. But this is 200 years ago. Even now, there is a lot of anti-Catholic sentiment, and one of the reasons for that is, which I will now tell you, when the French bishops commissioned inquiry into pedophilia in the church, and it was headed by Jean-Marc Sauve to conduct this inquiry of pedophilia cases dating back to 1950. His report says that there were 3,000 pedophiles in the church and about 10,000 victims of theirs. However, Olivier Savignac, head of the Victims Association called Speak Out and Live Again, claimed that there were 216,000 victims of pedophilia in the church. Now that is horrendous, and we can therefore understand this deep resentment and animosity towards the church in France. And lest we forget, the last controversy regarding Da Vinci was the novel The Da Vinci Code. Yes, we've all heard about it, by Dan Brown, which is published in 2003. And most gullible Christians felt threatened by the intrigue and insinuation in this novel, based where? You guessed right, in France. Now, Brown, it's a novel, it's fiction, and on the right in the beginning he talks of facts, and his facts are limited to artwork, architecture, documents and secret rituals. However, nowhere does he make any references or give the quotations from where he has picked up what he claims to be true, and therefore there is no way of cross-checking what he has said. However, there was another book brought out against that by Michael and Veronica Haag that actually decodes Dan Brown's statements. And I will read two very interesting statements from this. This is what Dan Brown's characters say, and which this book is now debunking. Almost everything our fathers taught us about Christ is false. So this is the main thrust of this book of Da Vinci. And here is what these people say, these researchers say, on the basis of studying his book and what he is claiming. They say it is a cheerful sloppiness. There is a cheerful sloppiness about the way Dan Brown strings together people, places, incidents, and ideas. Wow, that's a powerful indictment of his novel. Hence, I dare say that this opening ceremony of the Paris Olympics 2024 also falls into the same genre of pseudo cheerful sloppiness disguised as a cultural expression in another desperate attempt to denigrate Christianity. As with all such attempts, it has failed. To the contrary, it has actually ignited the minds of, yes, sloppy and sleepy Christians. Yes, putting the threads, connecting all the dots and the symbols like Dan Brown. I have learned something from him. I do find a common thread. Now, the sexual innuendos were just a tool to hook people on. The real target of this opening ceremony, as that of Dan Brown, was the person of Jesus himself. Tough luck, Paris. You have failed miserably. So, dear viewers, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share and comment whether or not you like what I've said, because your comments are most valuable. Thank you very much, and God bless you all till we meet again.